What is up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today, definitely a bit of a change up from the 10 or so videos that I've put out in the past, but it's my channel. And today I feel like talking about the Cyberpunk TCG that's on Kickstarter right now and coming out later this year. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go over kind of my takeaways from it so far, the good, the bad, and just kind of talk through it and talk on my thoughts about it. So welcome for the ride. Starting off with the good, because personally that's how I like to start most things, if I'm being honest, and it's that the Weirdco team is pretty plugged in. They did a Reddit Ask Me Anything. They literally have a Discord channel titled Ask Game Devs, as I've put there. And they pretty much get back to a very strong amount of questions that are asked there. They're also pretty kind of receptive and communicative with the community, as well as having that testament be backed by another YouTuber, Snapcaster Mage, who's also active a decent amount and has given his testament in the Discord, which admittedly I probably should have nabbed a screenshot of and put here, but it's already about a week till the campaign ends, and I want to get this out in a timely manner so that anyone who can see it wants to. So, moving on, another good part about this that I've gotten from it is that the Weirdco team's also pretty receptive to the feedback. And I mean, the best thing you can take as an example of that is them adding quick hacks to the base, or not, sorry, to the first set, because originally they've noted that quick hacks weren't set to be introduced until set 2, and then after kind of the feedback on the alpha kits and all that, they've decided to move it up to set 1. And I mean, if they're willing to change a set because of feedback, then I'd say that's pretty receptive. So, and then also they've been pretty receptive again, the word, as to the community feedback and what is kind of obvious is what the community wants to hear and all that, and they've made sure that they're gonna address it in an update that I'll be going over later in the video. Another good thing that obviously that I like because I put it in the good section, is they already have future plans. Like I mentioned in the previous slide, they already have set 2 planned out, or at least partially planned out. Ditto for set 3, I'm pretty sure, but probably less so. And they also have an organized play structure planned out already. This is a graphic from them. They've got like the local level with the Night City Gauntlet, and then the competition level events. And I mean, sure, you could play a trading card game for fun, right? But I think there's going to be a fair amount of people that are going to be kind of brought in by the competitive elements of it, or who are going to be kind of pushed more into the game because of the competitive elements. And I think it's pretty vital to the success of the trading card game, and it's nice to see that they already have plans for it, because we've seen in some other cases where they don't, and it kind of flounders and just is generally negative for a newer trading card game. And another piece of good is that if you back it right now, there's pretty good financial value for the backers, even if you're not in the tier where you will be receiving the beta box, which admittedly I should have gotten a better picture of this tier, because this is the first tier that grants you the beta box. And granted, it is a lot at $350, but if you take a look through the Kickstarter, there's a fair amount of stuff that you'll be getting for the beta box that should put it a fair amount over MSRP. But even if you're not, and even if you're, say, just getting the starter decks at the $50 tier, then you're still getting 5 Kickstarter exclusive Nova Rare cards with the Street Kid, the 2 Lucys, David Martinez and the Rebecca. And I mean, just in general, the tiers are kind of under what the given MSRP is. Of course, you know, the Cyberpunk set could like completely flop after it comes out and not even make it to set 2, and this could be your money down the drain. But personally, I believe it's going to do decently enough to where the financial value is going to hold. But I mean, this isn't exactly a proven product, so any money into the Cyberpunk TCG is at least partially a bit of a gamble. But another good thing is the Weird Co team has a lot of experience under their belt. I mean, if I haven't listed and I don't have noted down set experience of some of the kind of more top members, but if you go back and watch their launch live stream, I'm pretty sure it was, or maybe the other one, where they bring in pretty much most of the people, or like the top heads, or just communicative people from the Weird Co team. They'll go over the experience there, and personally, it's all kind of pointing to green, and they seem to know what they're doing. Hopefully that translates to success, because I mean, I want to see it do good. I'm sure if you're watching it that you at least partially want to see it do good. And experience is definitely better than just being like a couple of random high schoolers just making a Kickstarter trading card game for the kicks of it, yeah. And they also have a big IP behind them, obviously, with Cyberpunk. It's also a bit of a distinct IP in the trading card space, which is also a big help. Right now, there's definitely a bit of a boom for trading card games, but kind of the more successful ones are either established or have an IP behind them, with like Magic the Gathering, obviously a very well-established trading card game that's been around for decades. And then you got other ones, more even if they're newer, like the One Piece trading card game, or like Riftbound or Laracana, and those are kind of, they're doing well in general. And I mean, having an IP is going to draw in more people that wouldn't have even heard about this to start off with. So it's definitely got a bigger reach and a bigger potential for new players, rather than just kind of the, not even hardcore, but kind of just from the trading card game base, if you want to put it like that. And then, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the last thing that I have for the good category is that personally I just like the gameplay core. They have on the Kickstarter a print and play PDF, I guess, where you can, like, it is pretty much just a PDF. You can print it out and cut it out, put it in like some card sleeves, or have put in some card sleeves, whether it be like a solid back or just putting the card in front of another card, or putting another card behind it. I would highly advise you to print it out and just kind of test it for yourself, see if you actually like the game, or if you play it and then you don't like it at all and you thought you were going to, because I can tell you what I think about it, other people can tell you what they think about it, but we're not you. I'm not you. And I would highly advise you to play the game yourself and make up your own opinions about it. The printing isn't that much. I wouldn't expect it to cost you more than like $7, US dollars rather, or specifically. And time-wise, going and getting it printed or printing it at home and cutting it out shouldn't take you too long. And I mean, if it's going to be saving you possibly upwards of $100, then I don't see why you wouldn't. But I think it's intriguing. I definitely think that there's some depth to the game that's yet to be explored. That definitely could be with this set. I think it's got good prospects, and I play tested it with a buddy, jammed a fair amount of matches, and yeah, just in general liked it. But again, I'll stress this point. I would highly advise you to do so yourself. But with the good, there's always bad. And I got a couple notes jotted down. So the first point is that we currently don't know the card pool amount. We don't know if the set's going to be big or small or none of that. It's not like the biggest thing, but obviously if the card pool is too small, then it could lead to some issues. If it's too big, that could also lead to some issues with, I mean, not the biggest issues, I suppose, but it could make the best cards just a bit more expensive if it's that much more rare to pull them. It's, like I've said, it's not the biggest thing, because I'd say the biggest thing is more kind of the card's quality and depth and gameplay, and just kind of how the game flows in general. And if whatever number they have for the card pool amount, as long as it's a better quality, then I think that it's going to go well. But my next point for the bad is that Legends could possibly crowd the PAX Rare slot. It's been a bit of an issue for some of the community, at least, and other trading card games, such as Riftbound. I'm pretty sure. I could be completely talking about the wrong trading card game. I'm pretty sure it was Riftbound, though, where you could end up, because with Legends, you only need one to have a playset of them. And if you're going through packs and you're drawing like a secret rare, and what is it going to be? It's another legend. And maybe if the card pool amount number is bigger, and most of like the higher rarity tiers are going to be stocked full of legends rather than other cards that you would want to get, then you might end up with a pile as big as this with legends that are extra that you don't really need. It's more, I'd say it's going to be more of like a pull rate thing and a card amount thing or something like that, because I believe there's about 20 legends roughly. So I mean, as I've said previously in other videos, I'm not the smartest guy. I haven't played the most amount of trading card games. Most of my experience stems from Magic the Gathering, but I've played for roughly a decade at this point, and I've played a good amount of trading card games. Definitely not like a crazy amount. So if you want more kind of discussion about this, I would advise you to get from elsewhere. But I'm just pointing out that this could be a problem. And of course, we won't really know until it comes out. But another bad thing is that we don't know how long Weirdco has the Cyberpunk IP license to mess around with. And while we don't know how the relationship is between them, it could lead to another Star Wars customizable card game situation, which, if you don't know, was a card game in about the early 2000s. And they had the Star Wars IP, obviously. The card game was not like big, but it was a decent amount. And essentially what happened is the renewal came up for the IP license, or whatever the official term is for it, and they didn't get it. And so the Star Wars customizable card game became the Wars trading card game. And they published 2 more sets, I think it was. And then the card game just, like, collapsed pretty much. And obviously that's an issue with any trading card game that has an IP behind it. And that's always going to be an inherent issue that has some downside along with the upside of bringing in a bigger customer base, is that the stability of the game itself is a bit more shaky than something like a Magic the Gathering. I don't think this will be a huge issue, though. Weirdco and Cyberpunk, not Cyberpunk rather, but CD Projekt Red seem to have a good working relationship from what I can tell, which admittedly isn't much. And admittedly, I don't know much of the process and how kind of intertwined the two are in making this card game. But I don't see this being a huge issue right now, especially considering kind of the current growth of the trading card game market in general. But something else that could come up is the game depth, and we really don't know how deep the game's going to go. The alpha kits were a bit basic, if we're being honest, and we don't know if the trend is going to continue like that, or if it's going to, like, really just how more complicated and strategic the game could be. We've got the quick hack cards like Cyber Psychosis that were added to kind of give you a bit more options and more depth in the set in general. But at the end of the day, that's just one card, and that could possibly be like the most complicated card in the entire set, and the rest could just be like more kind of atlases where it's just 4 cost, 7 power, no text, where the legends are the most complicated in the set. And we won't know, frankly, until after the Kickstarter ends how deep the game's going to go, because we're not going to have the full set revealed to us. And it's a purposeful, obviously it's purposeful, but the Weirdco team has given a reason for this. At least Weirdco Kawa has, who's the main Weirdco representative that'll be replying in the Ask a Game Dev section of the Discord. And here here's one of the posts. It was, "Are we going to see more cards before the Kickstarter ends?" And he responded that they've mentioned that they won't be doing too many card reveals from now until the end of the Kickstarter campaign. At the time of screenshotting and recording, they've done one, which was the I forget. It was a red card where his power was doubled when attacking. It was Valentino. I forget. But he said there will still be a small amount, but the true start to the card reveal season will be spread out between the end of the Kickstarter campaign and shortly before fulfillment. This is because we do not want to reveal all of the cards super early for everyone to play with them extensively before release. I've seen this happen in many other TCGs, and I want to avoid this as much as possible. And in brackets, before a game is even launched and meta is solved, I'm personally in charge of our content calendar, and I have an entire schedule planned, so don't worry. I'll be sure to update the card database as soon as each card is revealed. Thanks. So, I mean, there's a reason right there. They don't want, like, us all to figure out the set before it even comes out. And I mean, I kind of agree with it. And then as well, with the releases being more stretched out from the Kickstarter's end to fulfillment, that'll be a good way to drum up or to keep up the hype that the TCG has had going through it. I mean, yeah, I can completely understand why. Obviously, well, not obviously, but I would like to see more of the set than is available right now just because of the game depth. I don't know. Like I said, the Cyberpsychosis card could be like the most complicated card in the set that there is. Just having more of a general idea of something entirely brand new before you drop like hundreds of dollars into it is always going to be for the better. But this is what Weird Co's decided. That's the reason. And just don't go too crazy about it, because they've had to deal with their fair share of inconsiderate and just downright rude people and comments over the campaign. So please don't be like that. Be respectful always. Another bad point is that important questions answers are locked behind the soon update, namely the one on the left as to pull rate information, the one in the middle being more as to the card pool number, which we went over a bit already, and then the one on the left as the booster box and actual release of set 1 having kind of exclusive cards and what that would look like. And I mean, yeah, all of these are information that's coming up in the new update, which has been waited on for a fair bit at this point. But he said that it should be coming out soon. Soon, yeah, that's the meme at this point. But definitely before the Kickstarter ends here, you can expect it before the end of day Friday, most likely. I don't have a screenshot where he says that it'll be or likely be before the end of day Friday, but I know for a fact that it is in there if you want to brave it and go through it all yourself until you find it. Then the podcast episode was also kind of set to release this Friday, so maybe it's during the podcast. I imagine it won't be, but definitely could. It could just be an update on the Kickstarter. It could be from their social media accounts. It could be a mix of all three. We really don't know in general. So this should be coming soon, very likely by the end of this week, and at least 1000% before the Kickstarter ends. So just kind of keep your ear out, keep your eyes out, and yeah, just the only thing you can do is wait until it is finally out. So yeah, and then yeah, what we can expect in the update, as to what I've gathered so far, is the card pool number. We can expect the pull rates of the different rarities of the cards, and or clarification on the differences between the Kickstarter and retail boxes, which definitely clears up a fair amount of information that the community has been wanting to know. Not everything, because they're not being fully transparent, which is completely understandable. But yeah, that's what we can expect in the update soon. And am I personally backing this? Answer is yes. I am currently backing at the Street Cred pack, which is 500 clams. Definitely a fair amount. Personally, I like what I'm seeing with the project. I like what I'm seeing from the team, and I mean, this Kickstarter isn't even really necessary, or it seems that it isn't necessary to the Kickstarter coming out. It's already kind of made and underway, and they've said that this was kind of more to gauge interest. Like I had in a previous slide, I like the core gameplay. I like the dice, the Johnny Silverhand dice, which is a bit as to why I'm at the Street Cred pack. But I also have a bit of money that I can be throwing around at something like this at the current moment. And I also have at least a local game store that I know is going to be carrying it, and a friend that lives close by that I know will be playing this with me. So community and kind of just the ground level of, even if you are going to get this, can you play with this is another big thing as to deciding whether you should or should not get it, or even just like how much you should invest as to whether you're straight up going for collecting or playing. But yeah, personally, I like what I'm seeing. There's more good than bad for me. I've also just been a big fan of Cyberpunk over the past couple years after being introduced to it by my friend that is also getting into this, and the game, the 2077 game, as well as Edge Runners. And like I said previously, I've been playing trading card games for nearly a decade at this point, and my love for them has wavered a little bit, for sure, through the journey, but definitely not diminished in a great fashion at all. So yeah, just at the point where I'm at, it makes sense, it makes sense to back this and get into the game. Obviously, it's going to be a personal decision for all of you guys, but if you do, I hope it all works out for you, and I hope that you get everything out of this that you want to. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and hopefully I'll see you guys all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.